Hi everyone, Craig Warwick here with a double review of the Marvel Legends Daredevil and Elektra figures from the Spider Build-A-Figure series. I've decided to review these figures together because they pestered me to have an on-again, off-again love-hate thing afterwards, and the Disability Discrimination Act prevents me from refusing to make an acceptable adjustment for that. Daredevil is of course lawyer Matt Murdock, blinded as a child by radioactive waste, but gifted with enhanced senses that give him acute radar-like awareness of his surroundings. Years of acrobatic and martial arts training allows him to become the acrobatic hero Daredevil, the man without fear, and he is depicted here in the black costume he wears during the all-new, all-different Marvel era. Unfortunately, it's not the Shadowland costume that I'm fond of, and is more an attempt to appeal to people who are never going to buy comics and just keep watching Netflix, but it's something we haven't seen in toy form before, and it's received some decent attention here. On the other end of the spectrum, this is a neoclassical red Elektra. Nothing all new, all different, or all shameless for trying to cash in on Netflix about her. On again, off again, love of Daredevil Elektra. No wait, that's not right. Dead again, alive again, ninja assassin Elektra. No, wait. Baddest bitch ever again, killed by shitty bullseye again Elektra. No wait. Whatever. Convoluted continuity chaos queen Elektra, everyone. Both figures look good out of the package, and the contrast between the black and red on both is very striking. Daredevil uses the Bucky Cat body, which is pretty tired at this point, and I'm sure we would all prefer the Sunfire body, but that doesn't mean he's all old hat. He receives new sculpted wrapped forearms and hands, and also new boots. I like these additions to this costume. The original Daredevil costume's colour scheme is supposed to be an homage to Matt Murdock's father's boxing colours, so even though the colours are long gone, I like this idea of the fist wraps and boxing boots homaging his father. The sculpt is nicely done on both areas with a small amount of admittedly sloppy but functional paint to make the details pop. The head sculpt is unfortunately not new and is the same head we have seen on previous Daredevil figures with, I feel, worse paint. There's a bit of slop around the line of the mask that stands out against the black. There's little other paint to talk about with the figure being cast in black plastic with red plastic accessories. The chest emblem though is cleanly stamped on, but it's a shame that this design looks like a logo for a fast food chain. Daredevil comes with two parts of his billy club that can be holstered on his side, similar to previous figures. These ones don't combine to form a larger staff though, instead they come with this white rope squiggle. It's clearly meant to be the wire filament that shoots out so he can swing on things, but the shape it's been sculpted in makes little sense to me. I'm not sure how to pose him with it. The squiggle is made from more rigid plastic than I'd expect, but that lets it keep the other end of the club in the air rather than letting it drop to the ground. It's not an accessory I'm fond of. Daredevil comes packaged with these open fists, and he also has alternate closed fists. A little more variety would have been nice here, like a splayed reaching hand or something to help him pose him when he's in more acrobatic poses. But the extra hands also carry over the nice sculpted detail from the standard pair. Turning our attention to Elektra, she's looking good and uses the same body as Polaris and Songbird. I can tell this because none of them have that fabric-defying plunging chasm in their cleavage that some female heroes manage. I think Elektra shares the same head sculpt as Polaris and Songbird too, but with a darker plastic skin tone and additional parts hiding the similarity well. Her hair and bandana are a separate sculpted piece, and the tassels on the back are again a separate piece. The sash skirt thing is also a separate piece and made from soft plastic. It isn't glued in place and is sculpted to hang straight down. To my eye, this looks a little jarring and dull given how animated her hair and bandana seem. It's kind of like this big rectangular slice of boredom in the middle of the figure. Beyond the shape of it though, it is sculpted with very nice folds and details. Elektra has hands sculpted to hold her sai. Both hands can hold them by the handle, and her right hand is sculpted with two fingers curved so she can also hold a sai by the prongs. Or have a steamy night in by herself, I guess.
Ooh. Bad joke.
Shut up, Matt.
Ooh.
The sai themselves are nicely sculpted and painted. They're made of a soft plastic, but luckily mine weren't warped too badly straight out of the box. The paint on Elektra is fairly good, with only slight blurring of lines where the skin tone meets the red. Her face is painted well with a nice metallic blue sheen to her eyes, and her lips are painted a dark red with a lighter metallic red highlight. Very femme fatale. Let's finish up with the articulation. Their heads rotate. Elektra's hair being made of soft plastic means that articulation isn't impeded. They look this far forward and this far back. Unfortunately, like most long-haired figures, the hair at the back does prevent Elektra from having any kind of movement in that direction. The shoulders hinge up this far and rotate all the way round. Daredevil has rotation at the top of the bicep, while Elektra has it at the bottom. Daredevil has double jointed elbows that bend this far, and Elektra has single jointed elbows that bend this far. I'm not sure how she puts her makeup on because she can't reach her own face. Hasbro continues to underserve female figures in that regard. They both have rotation and hinges at the wrists. Daredevil's alternate hands also have that same articulation. Daredevil has an ab crunch that leans this far forward and this far back, and waist rotation. Elektra has an all-in-one mid-torso joint that leans this far forward and this far back and rotates. Hasbro do need to come up with something better than this for female heroes, let alone one of the most formidable fighters on the planet. They have hip articulation that lets them kick this far forward, but not really back at all. They articulate this far out to the side. There's rotation at the top of the thigh and double jointed knees that bend this far. Daredevil has rotation at the top of his boot, while Elektra has none. They both have ankle hinges that move this far forward and this far back. And they also have ankle rockers, and this is their widest possible stance, still with both feet flat on the floor. Legend. So that's Daredevil and Elektra. Daredevil, meh, he's not really an improvement in the previous figures in any tangible way, so it's all down to whether you like the costume or not. Elektra, though, is a good figure of a much needed character. It's a shame Hasbro refused to evolve their female figures to be as functional as they are visually appealing. While the figure looks a million times better than this abomination from the dark days of Hasbro Marvel Legends in 2008, the articulation hasn't really improved all that much. Anyway, thank you for watching this double review. I hope you've enjoyed it and I appreciate you taking the time to watch. Please remember to like and subscribe and check out my other videos here on my channel, like my 60-second showcases or my customizing work. Until next time though, pour on the power. Bye bye.
Ooh.